Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily knit this sock. You will need sock yarn for that. I always use the sock yarn from Starkwolle. I let them knit quite beautifully and quickly. It is approximately size 2.5 to 3.5. Then a knitting needle set. I use size 2.5 for my socks here. With a pair of scissors at the end, a measuring tape and a needle for sewing. I'm knitting my socks today in size 37 to 39. For this, we first cast on the stitches. Take enough thread. In sizes 37 to 39, you will now cast on a total of 36 stitches. That means 14 stitches per needle. For example, if you want to knit socks here, for size 43 I would recommend casting on 68 stitches. Also 17 stitches per needle. I'm using this little trick so that my stitches at the beginning don't become too tight. Always take the stitches off with 2 knitting needles. That means I make my loop, go in from the back, pull the thread to the front, go into this cross, go to the back, pull the thread through, and I already have the first 2 stitches. Now I do it again. I go in from the bottom, grab the thread, take the thread with me, and have stitch number 3. In here, pull down, out 4, in, pull down, out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, pull the thread. You see, I took a bit too little thread, 55, but it's just enough that I can still sew it up. 56, but feel free to take a bit more thread. Good, now I have the 56 stitches on my 2 needles. Now I just pull a needle through, making sure it doesn't slip down here. And distribute the stitches onto the 4 needles. There are always 14 snacks per needle. Two, 3, just go to the front at the stabs and lift over. 4, 5. Thirteen, 14 stitches. So, our knitting needles are filled and it looks like this. We are starting the first row of our ribbing. That means we always knit alternating right and left stitches, so that it becomes nice and elastic at the top. So, be careful that nothing slips down here. A little trick from me. I take the 4th needle, so the last one, still with the first 2 stitches of the first needle. And that is actually connected. Now you can easily sew it back together at the end so that it doesn't stand out. First, let's get the thread. So exactly. That means I start with a knit stitch. I insert the needle from the front, grab the thread from the back, pull the thread through and lay it over. After that, for a left stitch, you bring the yarn in front of the needle. Pierce through both strands, pull the yarn through the 2 strands on the needle, and then pull it through the stitch. So, let's take our right needle. Always new, make a knit stitch, so insert it from the front, grab the yarn, and pull it through to the back. Links means to bring the thread forward, insert it, pull the thread, and pass it through the loop. Let's always do it alternately. Right, left, right, left, right and left, and 1 right stitch and 1 left stitch. We basically finish this needle with a purl stitch, which means we have to start the next needle with a knit stitch again to maintain our pattern. Here at the end, always be careful not to get too relaxed, because otherwise you'll see at the end exactly where our needle has basically ended and where the next one has started again. That means we start on the right, let's stretch it relatively tightly, but not too tightly. Go left again and stretch the next needle alternately. We finish the needle with a purl stitch, which means we will start again with a knit stitch. Always pay attention to switching with the needle, while still maintaining our alternating pattern of knit and purl stitches. I'm already at the last needle. We now have 16 stacks on it, and the simple thing, especially for beginners, is that we don't have such a hole here. So then we finish with a left stitch, which means we start again with a right stitch, a bit tight, knitting into the right and alternating between right and left stitches again. We have already completed the first round. We will now repeat this pattern every time. If someone is no longer sure whether to knit a right or left stitch, you can see it quite well at the front. I'll zoom in for you. In the right stitches, there isn't a knot like that when you insert the needle. Here you can see that nothing is tangled. In the left stitch, at the beginning it's not so clear, but here at the front is the bump, which is on the other side in the right stitch. You have to place the yarn back at the front and knit a purl stitch. Here on the right, it's not like that. You can see it a bit better here. The left stitch is always with the bump, the right without. This is really for beginners. In my opinion, the first 2 or 3 rows are particularly challenging because the double pointed needles feel a bit awkward in your hands, and the heel is the most difficult part of the sock. The rest is really fine. So once you've accomplished that, you've almost gotten through the worst part of stretching your first sock. That stretches out for so long until you reach about that point, which is of course a matter of taste. So I stretch my cuffs on the socks, on the arm socks, always about the same. I'll show you the finished one. It's about 3.5 centimeters or 4 centimeters here. For men's socks, I would personally make them about 5 centimeters, but that's really a matter of personal taste. Then theoretically this pattern exists there, stretching all the way down to the heel. Alright, then we'll see each other again when you've knitted 3.5 centimeters. So, here we are again with our sock. It looks like this now, roughly. You can already see through the pattern that it is really very elastic at the top. It stretches well. Now we come to the shaft, which is really super easy. We are simply always knitting straight stitches now. We already know how to do knit stitches, going in the back and then to the front. Indeed, we stretch it along the entire shaft. I'm going to make my leg warmers about 13 centimeters higher, which means that with the cuff and the leg, it will be a total of about 16 to 17 centimeters, depending on how high the cuff is made. If you knit a men's sock, I would suggest making the shaft almost 16 centimeters long. It just looks nicer that way. We always stretch our right stitches, so you can really do it comfortably while watching TV on the couch, stretching your sock. And just like that, we've knitted our first round again. You can see it really goes quickly now and is quite simple. Now it's just a matter of knitting away, and when the excellent height is reached, we'll see each other again.